Hi, my name is Kate. I'm also known as twolittlekits, and welcome to my FlossTube. You have to promise me that this episode you're going to ignore how weird my hair is today. I'm going to do my best to try and be okay with it. I tried to fix it, but it has a mind of its own today. But let's get started. So I have even more works in progress this fortnight to share with you. Some things are new, some things are old that you haven't seen for a little while. Some things are old but you haven't even seen it, that's how old it is. I even have a new pattern. So I'm going to start with the new pattern for this episode. If you haven't seen it on my social media or on my website, this is the new pattern. It's called Introverted Club, and I had the idea and spent like an entire day designing it, and I tweaked it when I was stitching it too, because that's what I do when I test stitch. I fix things and change things. But I had this idea. I think I saw something similar, like it was not cross stitch but it was reading or something, I don't remember, and I was like, yes, I'm doing that. This is a pattern that I want to now release this past Monday, and I'm going to make it happen. So that's how this was born. I think I actually shared last FlossTube that I was stitching it. That kind of rings a bell, but I did it. It's live. It's available now on my website. It's also on my Etsy and my Ko-fi store if you prefer to shop on those. And I think it's really cute, and you could easily change the colors to match whatever you prefer. I might maybe even like update the file to suggest some other color combinations. That could be kind of cool. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. And because I left the back open, there's my back, because some people like to see the backs of work. But yeah, it's me. I'm introverted, but I'm willing to discuss cross stitch. I feel like I'm talking really fast today, so my apologies if I am. I guess I'm starting to get used to the mini talk show kind of format for videos, where I try and talk really fast so that I can fit the 3-minute maximum time allotment that short form videos kind of have all over the place. Anyway, so that's my new pattern. I'm going to move on to my works in progress next, because I do have an exciting thing that I want to share with you that I've been working on for quite a long time, silently, secretly. Anyway, works in progress. Let's start with my flower Prairie, which was cool because I got to do some more snow ones. So this is where it's at right now. This is up to date. This includes today. And as you can see down the bottom here, we've got 3 little snow flowers, because we had a big, this past Friday, so the 13th. I remember that because it was my brother's birthday. So the 13th of March, we had a huge dumping of snow. I think we had like 5 inches, and it stuck around. So I counted those days that it stuck around and slightly snowed as snow days. So yeah. Anyway, I'll talk about that later. But yeah, this is my flower Prairie. We're now on a 4th row, as you can tell. Yay! There's some flowers that I have barely gotten. There are some flowers that I feel like I've stitched lots of times. Like I finally got a flower. Oh no, I see it there. I was going to say I finally got a new flower, but I think I've actually gotten all of the flowers now. I'm pretty sure I got all the colors a little while ago. Anyway, the next FlossTube, there'll be another one of these little signs that'll indicate March, April. So yeah, but that's where I'm at to. It'll be weird next year not stitching one of these, because this is the 3rd year. I have actually, on that, as a tangent, I have been thinking that maybe I'll do what I've preached that you can do and pick out 20 of my favorite flower designs and whatever color combination I think is nice, and mash it together and make my own like Frankenstein flower field, meadow, prairie. I think that could be cool. I don't know. It was just something that I thought of this past fortnight. I remember in saying that. Let's move on to this one, which I haven't done much. This is the Fairytale by Heaven and Earth Designs Stitch Along. And oh yeah, it's not going to be very interesting to look at because I've moved it in the Q-snap and I am not willing to undo it to show you, so I apologize. But this is what it looks like right now. So there's all this wrapped around the edge. What I was saying before I interrupted myself, I haven't stitched very much of this in the past 2 weeks. I have been, I don't know, just not feeling it. Not that I don't like it, I haven't wanted to stitch it, basically. Today, like when I woke up, I was actually like, yeah, I really want to do some work on this, so I'll probably stitch a bunch before I release this FlossTube, but whatever. I am up to, I will look it up, I've only done like 2%, so I'm up to 14.69% stitched, which is a little over 13,000 stitches, which just that blows my mind. That's a lot of stitches. So that's what I've done, and as you can tell, or if it wasn't clear, I moved the piece over in the Q-snap. I've been threatening to do it for a while, and I finally did it. Now I've got all this space. It's crazy. But I did take some photos, and I might overlay, now that I think about it, one of the photos to show you what the whole thing looked like. All right, moving on. This one you haven't seen for a little while. This is Circular Logic by Ink Circles. I've done a little tiny bit of this. It's this big piece here. You might be able to see the grid to get a gauge of how big the piece is, but that's what I've done so far, and I'm doing it in a hand-dyed floss, which I can't remember the brand. Have I still got it? Yes. So it's Threadworks, that's right, and it's number 1083. I don't know if I'm sure it has a name, but it doesn't have it printed on the little piece of paper. But it's, yeah. Anyway, I think it looks really, really nice. And if you are not a long time watcher of my FlossTube, you may not know about this piece. So this piece is my piece that I work on when I'm feeling like stitching and I am having adult chocolate, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I did a little bit of this, and I haven't screwed it up, so that's the good thing. But I'm actually thinking that like looking at the pattern, it's really tricky to kind of follow along. I am thinking, now that I've got Pattern Keeper, I might actually import it into Pattern Keeper, and I'll hang on to my printed version of the pattern just in case, but because there's no back stitching, it should be really easy to kind of keep track of it. So I might even do that when I finish recording. Anyway, let's move on to, I'm gonna leave this one to last. Let's move on to this one. I started, I think, work on this last FlossTube, or I showed the design, I don't know, but I worked on a new demo piece for Stitch People portraits because I have donated my time to my kids' school's silent auction to make a Stitch People portrait. So I have been working on the piece itself. Nobody has any hair, of course, because that's how I do things. Everyone is bald until very last minute. But yeah, we're getting there. I've just started doing the back stitching, so it's getting really close to being finished. I actually need to reach out to the woman that's organizing it and say, hey, I have this, at least the other one that's up there, and hopefully this one. When is the silent auction? Because I haven't seen anything in the school portal thingy. And do you want this? Because it could be really helpful to try and sell the thing. Anyway, that's what I've done. I think it's really cute. It'll look even better when everyone's got hair. I did have lines like here and here under these words, and I don't know what I want to do because I don't want it to look the same as that one. So let me know what you think. All right, I'm gonna have to start laying things on my keyboard. Let's move on to this one. This is Extraordinary Birds by Lola Crow Cross Stitch, and I think I've lost my needle. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Oh, I'll have a look in the bag in a bit. Anyway, that's the piece. I am currently stitching these two birds here, this little guy here, and then there's two birds over here. That's all one part. I finished the peacock. I don't think I finished the peacock before last FlossTube recording. I can't remember, but I'll show you the peacock anyway because he's gorgeous. And it took a long time. It's very solid because that's the back of it. All the back stitching. There was a lot of back stitching, and she even set up, she being Amy, she set up an order that you should do the back stitching in. So do this color first, then this one second, and then this one last, which was really helpful because I would have done it in completely the wrong order. Anyway, that's where we're up to. We're starting to fill out stuff on this side, which is good because it was very left heavy. I don't know where that needle's gone. Hopefully it's just in the bag. Anyway, that's that piece. Next is this one, which I'm actually going to take this one out of its hoop because it does need a break. So this one is Post-Apocalypse Fantasy by Flossie Fox Shop, and I'm stitching it in a hoop because the fabric is really soft and flowy, and I want to make sure that all the stitches sit right and don't pull awkwardly, but it's too tall to fit into a single hoop. So it's got a big ring in it, so apologies, but this is coming along. I'm about to start doing all the darker colors just because all the darker colors were at the end of the floss list. What am I doing now? The dark purple. But yeah, it looks really cool. I have no idea how I'm going to frame this one, but if you know me, you know that I don't always, when I finish something, it doesn't get framed, really, to be quite honest. And it's not because I don't care, it's just because I'm like, well, I stitched it. That was the thing I wanted to do, was stitching it. And I did that. Anyway, so that's that piece. I haven't worked on that for like at least a week because I've had other stuff, which I will show you now because now we're up to it. So the first one is this piece here, which is going to be my next cross stitch pattern that I release. And I've just started the wording on it. So it's this piece here, which you can see me behind the fabric. This is going to be called Undiagnosed But, which is a weird name, I know. So this is going to be released next Monday, the 30th. I just had to look at my calendar. Because the 2nd of April, which is Thursday week, it is World Autism Day. I told myself a few years ago that I really wanted to release a pattern about either neurodiversity or autism on or near World Autism Day. And last year I did that. It was my Not Less pattern. The year before that, I had the idea, but it was a bit too late. Like, I realized about now that I was like, I wanted to do that. So that was sort of the inception of the thought. So this is my next piece for World Autism Day. And yeah, I've had this idea in my list of to-do ideas for a long time. I wonder if it even tells me. I think it's been like almost a year. No, it doesn't tell me when I saved it anyway. But I finally figured out how I wanted the design to look. So I did it. The bit that you can't see in the middle is the actual wording. So it says undiagnosed, and then down the bottom here, it says, oh my God, what does it say? But pretty sure. That's what it says. So yes, this piece is coming along nicely. It will fit into a 6-inch hoop. That's about all I have to say. I'm still working on the cross stitching. I did a little bit of back stitching just because I had the floss on my thread at the time. So I've done this back stitching here and some over here. But I am going to finish the cross stitching before I do any more back stitching. So yeah, that one will be available next week. And my last work in progress is the one that I've been really excited about. And it's this piece here, which I'm going to take it out of its frame because it does need a break from it. All right, there we go. So I'm only stitching within the frame because I don't want to keep moving it around like I have done with the post-apocalypse piece. I'm basically going to do the first 2/3 of the pattern on the left hand side and then the last third when I'm done. So this is my Firefly Sampler pattern. And the reason I'm really excited about this is, and I talked about this in my most recent Stitchy talk show episode, was that over this past weekend, so not the one that was just happening because I'm releasing this on Monday, but the one before, so the weekend of the 15th of March, because that was when they said it, they announced, they being the cast of this TV show that I absolutely adore, they announced that they're going to try to get the show to be rebooted as an animated series. So the show is 24 years old, and so the cast are 24 years older than they were when it came out. And like, this is the best case scenario to get more of my favorite TV show. So I'm so excited that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna work on this piece. So yeah, that's what's happening here. That's kind of self-explanatory. I've done so much work on this. I had to do some unpicking, and I talked about that on my episode as well, because this was so long ago that I started stitching this, that it was during my time of stitching 4 strands on 14 count, which was so long ago, like pre-COVID time. Anyway, and it didn't even last long. It was like maybe a 6-month at most stint that I did 4 strands. But yeah, anyway, okay, I'm just making sure you can see the whole thing. So that's coming along. I'm excited. The reason I'm rushing a little bit talking is because I was busy stitching this instead of recording this FlossTube, because I was just like, I want to work on this instead. So yeah, that's my last work in progress. That is 8, I believe, if I counted correctly, works in progress that I have touched on in this past fortnight. I have been doing a lot of stitching, which is kind of like the theme for this episode, that I haven't done a huge amount of stuff this past fortnight except stitch. And I'm cool with that. Hopefully you are too. Let me know which one is your favorite. Let me know if you know the TV show Firefly, and if you have never heard of it or never seen it. I honestly, like, it's not a very long show because it was rudely cancelled halfway through the first season. It had so much potential. It had so many teasers for future storylines. So many things didn't get resolved because it was cancelled so abruptly. So it's really short. There's like 13 episodes. And then they saw the backlash once it was cancelled, of everybody being really mad that it was cancelled, that they made a movie of the show, which is called Serenity. So if you've never seen it before, I know I'm rambling, go watch it. It's on Disney, I believe, or Hulu, one of those 2 streaming services. And then watch the TV show first, and then watch the movie. Really good. Amazing actors, fantastic characters. 10 out of 10. I'm going to leave it there. Alright, so what else have I got to talk about? I'm going to leave that for last. I'm looking at my notes. The next thing that I want to talk about is some things that I got over the last fortnight. And they are these hoops, this one, and where's the other one? And this one. So these 2 Nurge hoops. These hoops were highly recommended on a group that I'm in, like a cross-stitching group that I'm a part of, for being really good at holding the fabric tight. Whereas like the bamboo and beechwood embroidery hoops, I find that they get really loose really easily, and that just really bothers me, which is kind of why I've moved into stitching in hand most of the time. But for something like the Firefly piece and the post-apocalypse fantasy pieces, the fabric that I'm using is really limp and floppy and blah. So yeah, I'm using these. I got them because I got another thing but these were available too. So I got these in these two sizes, and I got different colors so that I could easily pick the right size. And because why not? Pink and blue, good combination. They're really good. I highly recommend them. Yeah, they're amazing. I will most likely move this hoop from this piece, which is really like rigid fabric. I just wanted to try it out, to the post-apocalypse fantasy piece when this is done. So I've got those, and these were all from 123stitch.com. And the reason I placed an order was because I wanted to get a bunch of fabric. So I got 6 pieces of fabric, mostly because one of them was for a stitch along that I'm going to be doing. But this piece is going to be for one of the patterns that's in the cross stitch forest, that's by Pigeon Coop Designs. So I got this piece for that pattern, and then I got, and these are all either 18 or 16 count. So this green one is 16 count. This one's Fibre on a Whim, it's 18 count, and it's just stone colored, and it's just a really big piece. Most of the fabric I got is really big pieces. This one I'll open up so you can see it a bit better, but this is Swigart 18 count, and it's kind of a smoky color, and that's the same size like piece that I got. There's this blue one which has like a slight texture to it. It's a small cut, but it's 1/8 yard. Yeah, and this is 18 count. This is the one that's for the stitch along. So this is 1/8 yard as well, and it's 18 count too. So this is for a pattern that, like I said, a stitch along that's coming up. And this is 1/8 yard as well, and this has like a slight, I don't know if you can, I doubt you'd be able to see that. There's like a really, really subtle texture on it. And this is also 18 count. I really, as you can probably tell, I really like the neutral off-whites, so grey kind of colours. Yeah. Anyway, I am just going to quickly check something. Okay, so yeah, those are all the things that I got from 123 Stitch. So I'm excited. You gotta love some new fabric. What can I say? I'm planning on using one of the other 18 count fabrics for the upcoming Lola Crow cross stitch along that I think is called like Midnight at the Museum or something. She's opening or has opened pre-orders today that I'm recording. So I did make sure to get fabric that could fit the size for that. But the one, this pinky peachy kind of color one, is for a pattern, a cross stitch pattern, like I said, that's a stitch along that's coming, and it's called Life at the Cottage. It's going to be by Needle Lot Designs, which I haven't finished her last stitch along yet. That one's sitting in my car. I have all these other things that I want to work on too. But this one sounds really cute and I'm excited. So yeah, I got that stitch along pre-order too. Cool. Where's my notes gone? Oh yeah, and the last thing I got that I can't really show you very well, except I got some of them here, is some floss. Some colors for floss, because these are colors that I couldn't find because they're in other projects and I went hunting and just gave up. These are missing colors for the Firefly piece, so I'll be using those. The floss is kind of boring to share, but it is proof, I guess, that I have been to the craft store this year now, because I got those at Michael's. So I did pretty well. It was 2.5 months. I'm pretty pleased with myself. So the last thing that I want to talk about is new, and I can't share too much information just yet, but I have the blessing of my husband, and that is that he and I have been working behind the scenes for I don't even know how long, a long time, on a web application that is cross-stitch patterns creation and like pattern keeper style annotation kind of thing. Tentatively right now it's called Stitch Kit, and I'm excited. Basically it's all the things that I like about cross-stitch pattern applications and all the things that I wish they had in them. And we've been trying our best to make it very easy to use, not only at a computer but on your phone too. And that's been the hardest thing, the phone thing actually, but it's getting there and I'm really excited. I put out a call for some test designers, which I haven't gotten on top of yet. So if you did reach out to me and say yes, that you're interested, please know that my silence doesn't mean that you weren't picked. My silence means that we found more bugs, and I just wanted to wait to get it to a position where it was a bit easier to use, I guess. I don't really know how else to put it. I love my husband. He's amazing. He has learnt so much about cross-stitching with this process, which just warms my heart in a way. And I'm so thankful that he has been doing this in his spare time, because this isn't his full-time job. He, has a full-time job managing people at a big company. So this is, I'm excited. I'm trying really hard to use it as my main application to create designs in. It's really hard right now because we haven't done a lot of work on the output, the PDF output just yet. So like the Undiagnosed But pattern, I fiddled with that design in Stitch Kit for ages before I was like, okay, I've kind of hit a roadblock now and I want to keep my PDFs looking the same that I've been doing for the last like 2 or 3 years. So I had to then put it into WinStitch and work on it from there. So that was a bit of a bummer, but it's getting there and I'm excited and we're really hoping to get it done. I'm not going to say a specific date or month or anything like that, but just know that we're trying to get it soon. So if you're excited about that, let me know. I might actually put in the description a mailing list link for finding out when that's ready. If you're interested, I don't have that set up for right this moment. So yeah, I'll try and do that before I release this episode and go and check it, the description, to see if it's there and if you're interested. Anyway, that's a ramble, but I'm excited and I ramble when I'm excited. So yeah, sorry, not sorry. Anyway, there isn't much to talk about IRL stuff because most of it is too personal to sort of chat about, but there has been a lot of things happening behind the scenes. There has been school closures. We had a serious windstorm on Thursday last week, and that knocked out power in our whole area for a couple of hours, but some of the areas in our school district still had power loss at the start of the school day on the Thursday. So school was cancelled on the Thursday and then we had dumping of snow on the Friday, so the kids had a long weekend. And yeah, they also got to play in the snow, which was fun. Unfortunately, my oldest daughter, she slipped in the snow and hurt herself a little bit, but she's fine now. I think it was mostly a shock kind of fall. But yeah, there isn't a lot really that I can share in my personal life because, like I said, a lot of it's sort of private and I'm not ready to talk about it just yet. But that's okay. That's kind of it. That's a really short IRL update. I'm going to leave it there because I am noticing the time. I'm noticing the time and I'm going to wrap up because of it. So thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like the video if you did like it. Share it with your friends. Leave a comment about the things that I've talked about. That would be awesome. I know that's a lot of things to do. You don't have to do all of them. I just appreciate whatever you're willing to do to help me in the algorithm. And yeah, I appreciate it. Just know that. I'm trying to figure out the best way to wrap it up. I kind of said the wrong things, I guess. I don't know. Thank you for being here and I'll see you around the internet. Bye.